Our people have had a pretty tough time over the last couple of years. We've had cyclones, the land prices have been horrific here on the East Coast. The forestry prices dropped out. What do you think the role of the projects that your organisation umbrellas, what role do they play in our community wellness?
Through the cyclone, we saw climate disasters, ecological disasters, the choices that we've made on our land in the past just destroyed whole areas of rivers, oceans, forests. The role that, for example, Tairawhiti Environment Centre plays is really just being able to connect together local government, central government, businesses, community, iwi hapu, all of those that should be playing this role, because we need to work together to solve this problem. It's not something that we can do in isolation. And it's really about, connecting together the languages that everyone speaks around their eco-literacy, I suppose, if we want to call it that, and figuring out solutions forward that work for people on the ground but get buy-in from government that business can get behind.
I sometimes feel that we've got local solutions here. We've got really knowledgeable people that know their ecosystems for generations. Sometimes you feel like government doesn't quite get us in our region. And when they come in, they've got expectations around what we do to be able to receive funding and things like that.
Yeah.
When we're talking about recloaking Aotearoa, do you think regionally there's going to be different solutions to the same sort of problems?
100%. Yep, 100%. There's going to be different solutions in many regions. There might be similarities in some, but the way that regions operate are so different. I think that what we found in our region, we've had some great opportunities from money coming in, from central government, from businesses, but there's a lot of conditions attached to that, and usually it's not across the whole system. It's looking at certain parts. So here's some money to go and do predator control, or go and do this component of it. What we've been trying to do a lot with our mahi is say, let's change that from the I'm a funder, I'm going to come in and dictate what you need to do as the person getting the funding, and let's move that model into more of a partnership model, and let's work together and let's co-create and let's make sure that we can meet everyone's needs. But at the core of that, we're all working for the same outcome, which is regenerating nature at scale.
What are some of the big challenges that you think that we're going to face over the next few years, and how do you think we solve them?
I think one of the biggest challenges when it comes to nature regeneration is that it takes time. Nature's not fast. We need to start thinking about the long term. We need to start thinking about our children and our grandchildren and the world that they're going to inherit. We need to be doing things like planting forests, restoring wetlands now, so that our future generations are actually having a world that's thriving.
So I'm sitting here looking at the East Coast. I know our people want native forests on the hills, particularly in that class 7 and 8 steep country. The big question is who pays for it? Government, business, individuals. Who picks up the tab for us building resilience into our landscape?
We need to have these public-private partnerships to really push this forward. We need business to get on board. We need business to understand how they're impacting nature and to actually start paying for some of that. We need government to be able to put in some money. We need government behind it because, it's for the betterment of New Zealand. We need communities like local bodies, whether that's economic development agencies, regional councils, local councils. We need groups on the ground that are out there doing this sort of work. We need everyone. It's all about collaboration. We can't do this by ourselves.
And so currently, is there a model that people can tap into for that type of support? Because we have many farmers that we work with as individuals. We have many catchment groups. We have many Māori trust blocks. I guess my question is, how do people on the ground wanting to recloak the whenua, how do they access the financial support to be able to achieve what their aspirations are?
At the moment, it's few and far between, but there's real opportunity to really get financing into region. Like, I know of some philanthropists that are really keen on this sort of stuff. I know businesses are on the cusp of being like, I'm starting to understand this stuff, you know, big corporates. And so there might be some more financing models there. Government is a bit hard at the moment, but I'm really hopeful that that comes back as well. You know, we saw Jobs for Nature come in after COVID that put significant investment into region, and we achieved some amazing things.
We planted entire new forests out of Jobs for Nature.
Yeah.
And that, to me, when I look at that model, I'm like, wow, that is literally recloaking the whenua.
Yeah.
We have people with incredible ecosystem literacy now. We have people with so much experience to be able to roll out and establish forests, weed forests, maintain forests, do the browser and the predator control. We have so many skill sets sitting there. Now seems like the perfect time to take action. We just need the business model and the investment to make things happen.
I feel education is really important. And, you know, if we relate that back to a forest, sometimes I think of it like, you know, we need the birds like Kiruru to go around and drop bits of information in all these different areas for things to spark and all these connections to happen, and for stuff, you know, people to make a difference for stuff happening on the ground.
So taking that thinking, what does thinking like a forest mean to you?
I think of everything in the forest and ecosystem, and I think of the big trees that house so many creatures, from the little invertebrates and bugs to, you know, big epiphyte species to birds. I also think of the mushrooms and mycelium network, and just really the fact that a forest to function needs to all work together. And I feel like that's exactly the same as a community. We need everyone. We need business. We need people on the ground. We need local government. We need economic development agencies. We need central government, all coming together to figure out how to regenerate Tairawhiti at scale. And the benefits from that are just huge.